Happy 4th of July weekend. I really hope you're spending it with your friends and family and just enjoying your time during this long weekend of ours. And it is quite ironic that WWE has a pay-per-view during 4th of July weekend outside of the States because we're going to Toronto, Ontario, Canada for Money in the Bank. 5 matches on the card, a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Let's talk about the last chance for the World Heavyweight Championship match. The last chance for Seth freaking Rollins. The last chance for Damian Priest. Because it's been already established. If Priest wins, Seth Rollins can never challenge for the World's Heavyweight Championship again. As long as Damian Priest is still champion. If Rollins wins, Damian Priest leaves the Judgment Day. And on top of that, whoever walks out of this match as World Heavyweight Champion, their grand prize is heading to SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer, and facing the King of the Ring General, the King General, Gunther, for that very same World Championship. Now, there's always a possibility that Mr. Money in the Bank might be able to cash in. Drew McIntyre threatened to do so at Toronto. He said he's walking out of Toronto as World's Heavyweight Champion, so that's not out of the question. But for the purposes of this match, for the purposes of this prediction, let's just go ahead and give you a straight up winner. Let's just go ahead and give you a result from the two given to us so far. Because again, WWE can't cop out of this with Mr. Money in the Bank cashing in. Because technically, if Mr. Money in the Bank cashes in, whoever that may be, if he cashes in, Damian Priest did not lose to Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins did not lose to Damian Priest. So everything would remain the same. But again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But for now, I'm going to give the win to Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest becomes, or at least retains, the World Heavyweight Championship if I had to pick from either of these two results, simply because the story being told currently in Judgment Day supersedes and is more important than watching Seth frickin' Rollins, be world champion once again. And the end goal that we have to get to, which is WrestleMania, it still works without the world title. Rollins, Punk, that absolutely works without the world championship. So for now, and I don't think Priest is going to hold that title much longer after Money in the Bank. So Damian Priest is retaining his World Heavyweight Championship, given the two results that they presented to us. So we'll just have to wait and see how that transpires. We've got the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Sami Zayn versus the Wrecking Crew of a man in Braun Breaker. I'm going to admit it. I will admit it. Much like with Damian Priest, Sami Zayn's Intercontinental Championship reign, at least from my viewpoint, every single time I've given out a prediction on a match for Sami Zayn at a pay-per-view, I've always predicted against Sami Zayn, pretty much. Which again isn't fair to Sami Zayn. It's just better when the babyface chases the heel champion. And I initially thought it was Chad Gable. I was wrong. I can admit I was wrong, even though that story between Chad Gable and Alpha Academy is going to get better and better and better as we go. I'm putting all my chips on the table. Braun Breaker is walking out of Toronto, Intercontinental Champion. I mean, the only cop-out for WWE in this scenario is ending a match by DQ or by countout or by a no contest. Something. But if we're not going to have that, I don't see Sami Zayn beating current Braun Breakker. I don't. So those are my predictions. Braun Breakker walks out brand new Intercontinental Champion. Then we got ourselves a 6-man tag team match. The current WWE Champion Cody Rhodes teams up with his former mentor in the Viper Randy Orton and his current tag team partner KO Kevin Owens to face off against any 3 members of the Bloodline. Now that includes Solo Sikoa. That includes Solo Sikoa, the supposed current tribal chief. That includes the infamous Tonga Law. That includes right-hand man Tama Tonga. And that also includes Jacob Fatu. Any of those 3. And I'm not even going to bother in talking about which 3 would be a part of this match, because it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because if the babyfaces win, the only man that can take that pinfall, the only man that can take that loss in the Bloodline is unfortunately the infamous Tonga Law. Everyone else would be a little bit too damaged in the eyes of the casual viewer to be taken as seriously as possible. Which is why I am predicting the Bloodline itself gets the win and they pin KO Kevin Owens. He's got the least to lose if he gets pinned. So the Bloodline, and again, the Bloodline needs some momentum. This version of the Bloodline needs to get some wins behind it. It can't just be pure violence. That's exactly what tons of stables have done in the past, but have not been able to truly assert dominance in the middle of that ring. Now, there are a lot of people saying that Jimmy Uso is going to return to WWE at Money in the Bank and even up the score and even up the odds against the Bloodline. That's entirely a possibility. That is. My only issue is Jimmy Uso didn't get along with any of the 3 men, any of the 3 babyfaces in this current lineup. There's very little history between Jimmy Uso and these 3 babyfaces in the tag team. Again, they've had more history with Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman, with Jey Uso, hell, in some cases, with Solo Sikoa. So my question is, are we going to really telegraph and build up to the tribal chief's return, the true tribal chief, your tribal chief, my tribal chief, our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, his return to WWE? Are they truly going to telegraph it that much by having Jimmy Uso join the fray? And then eventually Jimmy and Jey Uso reunite. And they're fighting against this new version of the Bloodline. And then we get Roman Reigns getting a return. I think it's going to be the other way around. I think at Money in the Bank, the Bloodline 2.0 gets the win. They get the beatdown. They get to massacre the babyfaces. And there's like a 1% chance, 2% chance we get Roman Reigns returning in Toronto. Again, a very slim chance. Because at SummerSlam, we're definitely getting Cody Rhodes defending against Solo Sikoa. And that will be a better stage to have Roman Reigns return, in my mind. And then, once the Tribal Chief is back, the Tribal Chief himself acts as Nick Fury, and he recruits Jimmy Uso back. He recruits Jey Uso back. And we start building that. And we start building that momentum that we need behind Roman Reigns. But again, that's just me fantasy booking. Let's just wait and see what WWE goes ahead and does. And it's time to predict who walks out as Miss Money in the Bank. 6 women in that ladder match. Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark. As much as I would love Chelsea Green to walk out as Miss Money in the Bank, she obviously can't be taken seriously as a serious world champion. There's nothing wrong with that. She's a fantastic character. She does her job. She entertains the people. She's the R-Truth of the division, which is a pretty damn high honor in my mind. But she's not walking out Miss Money in the Bank. The same goes for Zoe Stark. Again, she has potential. She's a part of the tag team. I think they dropped the ball by not having her immediately feud with Trish Stratus when they were together. So we'll just have to wait and see. Naomi's not winning it, even though a glowing Money in the Bank briefcase would sell like pancakes. I just don't see it. Io Sky is a possibility. Lyra Valkyria is a possibility. But my money is on Tiffany Stratton. Because at Money in the Bank in Toronto, it's going to be Tiffy time. And eventually, Tiffany Stratton is going to cash that in and become women's champion. So I'm going to go with Tiffany Stratton on the female side of things. As for the men's side of things, again, 6 men, very unpredictable. Very, very interesting because we got main event Jey Uso. We got him, Carmelo Hayes. We got El Idolo, Andrade. We got Chad Gable. We've got L.A. Knight, yeah. And we've got Drew McIntyre, who's promised and who's threatened to walk out of Toronto as our new world's heavyweight champion. But keep that in mind. Cody Rhodes is also a part of this pay-per-view. He's got the WWE Championship. They could cash in on him at any point in time for this show as well. So let's start eliminating candidates. Chad Gable. No way in hell he's winning that Money in the Bank briefcase. At all. He's on the downward spiral. He's losing so much. And he's going to keep losing. He has to. Carmelo Hayes. Him. Very talented. Absolutely a future mid-card star. At least in the next 2-3 years. He's not winning Money in the Bank. No chance in hell. Again, he's going to have those big moments. He has the body type. He has athleticism. He has the talent to do so. It's not his time yet. Andrade. Now, out of everyone in this entire match, in this entire lineup, if Andrade were to win this briefcase, he'd have the most to gain. He'd be the best candidate to take him from zero to hero as far as a main event star goes. WWE is not doing that. Andrade is out of the running too. So now we got 3 candidates. Jey Uso, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre. I'm going to eliminate one right off the bat. LA Knight. Yeah, you're not winning Money in the Bank. You're not. Because at SummerSlam, you're winning the U.S. title from Logan Paul. As simply as that. So we got Jey Uso and we got Drew McIntyre. That's tough. It's tough because I've been predicting Drew McIntyre walking out with the world title or walking out with the win, again, every single pay-per-view since WrestleMania, and it hasn't happened, and it could happen, but it hasn't happened. So I'm going to go ahead and give Jey Uso the nod here. I think main event Jey Uso walks out Mr. Money in the Bank, but again, it's one of the most unpredictable Money in the Bank ladder matches in recent times, and I love it because you don't know what to expect. The easy route, the simple route would be to give it to Drew McIntyre. But if anybody else in that lineup wins that match, it's going to be one hell of an outcome. So with that said, those are my predictions for Money in the Bank in Toronto, Ontario, Canada this upcoming weekend. What are yours? Do you agree with mine? Most likely you don't, so leave yours in the comment section below. With that said, my name is Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.